So you are a remote high ticket sales closer making between ten to $20,000 per month, if not more, but you burnt out. So now you might be asking yourself, well, what's next? And that's why you arrived at this video. You've shown you can make money. You've gotten to the top. Now you need to know, how do I stay at the top and how do I continuously push forward, scale my commissions, but I don't burn out again. I don't keep going into these vicious cycles where I feel like garbage. That's what this video is for. This is for the sales closers who have done very well. They don't want to lose their role, their position. They want to stop feeling like burned out. They want to get back to feeling the best that they can and continuously continue making more and more money. And that's exactly what I'm going to break down in this video. Okay. For me personally, I had to go through this, and this is why I'm going to share what's worked for me, what's worked for my clients, and what maybe potentially can work for you. So, with that being said, let's dive right in. And it's probably important you do watch to the end. I only say that because not to waste your time, but the things that I stack and I sequence, they're going to make sense when I put them all together at the end. But if you don't want to wait to the end and you want to stop feeling like trash and you want to work with me one-on-one in Optiolite because you trust me to get you to exactly where you need to go, then click the link in the description, book a call with me with no bullshit, and we'll get to work immediately to make you burnout proof forever and continuously help you scale your commissions month after month. The first thing I can almost assume that you're doing that needs to end is you have to get rid of the dependencies that are dragging you down. I'm talking about way too much caffeine. I'm talking about way too much screen time. And I'm talking about way too much nicotine. I'm not going to ask you to just ruthlessly cut out all these things out of your life. But what I am going to ask you to do is make sure you start to taper these things off the same way most people would taper off any addiction. Going cold turkey sounds great and it works for some people, but it doesn't really work for most. And that's why tapering some things off usually works. So let's take nicotine, for example. With nicotine, if as soon as you're about to get into your calls, you pop a nicotine pouch, and then 2 calls later, you pop another one, and then after lunch, you pop another one, I want you to just take what you're doing and just split it in half. So if you're having about 2 or 4 nicotine pouches a day, whatever it is, split it in half and still have it. And you might feel a little bit of an effect. It's okay. Just be present with it and move on. Then let that go for 1 week. For the next week, then cut that in half. So now if it's 2 pouches, now it's 1 pouch. And we start to taper it off little by little to the point where you don't need to rely on this nicotine anymore. The dependency will be gone. And in the future, if you want to, you can then reintroduce it as a tool. Use it strategically to enhance your focus, your productivity, but not as a crutch, not as a dependency. Same thing with caffeine, whether it's way too many coffees, whether it's way too many energy drinks, or whatever it may be. Think about what it is and figure out, how can I taper this off little by little so I don't feel this massive withdrawal, and then eliminate it. And if I choose to, I can then reincorporate it, re-implement it in the sim future, and I can use it strategically as a tool to increase my performance. Okay, so that's number one. Taper off the dependencies. We can then reintroduce them later if you like to. Number two, you need to start from base one. And that's not a bad thing, because starting from the bottom, just starting at anything, it's a blessing. You get to be creative. You get to do things the way you want to do them. Let me help you do just that. The first step to recreating a better baseline and feeling so much better isn't always about doing the perfect habits, the right actions all the time, my friend. Those are important. But what's very, very important for you right now and how you're feeling right now is you need to eliminate all the things one by one, slowly, that are really holding you back. That's why we taper off the dependencies first, right? Next thing is, look at your diet. Look at what you eat on a daily, weekly basis. If anything that's in your diet is not really a whole food, doesn't help you feel very great, it's just quick, easy, and convenient, just let it go. Just cut it out, right? And same things with like any other vices you may have. If it's smoking, if it's drinking, if it's I love to grind and work 16 hours a day and then binge watch Netflix for 4 hours, that's killing your gains your next day, your performance the next day. So cut that out, right? So that's one thing I'd recommend, is make sure you eliminate these things first. So you give yourself way more room to breathe. You create that space to then replace that and add in positive habits, right? So instead of getting up and just caffeinating right away, when we go for a walk and we hydrate with actual water and actual trace minerals and sea salt, and that way there, we eliminate it, made space, and then replace, okay? And then you can always optimize from there. So that's my second piece of advice, is eliminate, create that space, and then optimize. Don't be so quick to just try to do all the right things, knowing it's not going to be sustainable, it won't last, and that'll just cause you to burn out once again. Now to point number three, you need to optimize the fundamentals of your day. You might be asking me, what the hell does that mean? Optimizing the fundamentals during the day means there's a peak performance daily structure that you follow, that you adhere to. The most productive people in the world, maybe the version of you that you once were, you were very structured. You weren't You were relaxed, but you were structured, you were congruent. And these are some great things you can implement right away to start rebuilding that structure without adding any complexity. The first thing is make sure that you wind up in the morning, right? It's going to be 2 to 3 to 4 actions, anywhere from 10 to 20 to 30 minutes that prime your mind and your body for peak performance. Things like going for a walk first thing in the morning with no blue light blockers or sunglasses and getting some light, fixing your posture. Another one could be making sure you're hydrating properly to get that max mental clarity. Another one could be doing something just for your mindset. It could be writing down or speaking aloud affirmations. It could be some kind of meditation. It could be something like that. Make sure you work on your mindset, get physical movement, get outside, and make sure you hydrate. Do those things in your wind up, and you're going to prime your mind and your body for peak performance. During your day, we just talked about the morning. During your day, after you eat, I want you to see if you can get outside again, just for a quick 5 or 10 minutes and go for a walk. This is going to help in digestion. It's going to help regulate your metabolic factors, and it's going to help you calm yourself, ground yourself, and then reset your state going into either the second half of your day or the next calls you have on your calendar. That's a great midday habit you can leverage. Let's go for a walk after you eat your meals, okay? And then we move to the evening after our calls. You need to make sure we implement a wind down routine. It's an evening routine. We all have morning routines. Maybe you don't, maybe you do. But I argue a wind down is almost more important than your wind up, because the performance for tomorrow that you want to operate at starts with how you wind down tonight. Because the wind down is the pre-sleep routine. So if you do that right, we can get the most, we can squeeze all the juice out of the lemon for our sleep, which is where we really rest, recover, reset, and re-energize ourselves to show up and perform at the highest level the next day. So for example, a few quick actions you can have in your wind down. Obviously, your wind down is going to be quite a bit longer than your wind up. It doesn't have to be, but usually I see 9 out of 10 times with my clients and other people that have a wind down, it's anywhere from about 30 minutes to 90 minutes. Typically, that sweet spot is about an hour. I'll give you a few quick things here. Plan out tomorrow's day the night before. Put on your blue light blockers. I recommend don't do any more eating, don't do any more drinking unless it's just slowly sipping some water. I also recommend taking a hot shower or a hot bath that forces your core temperature to cool down, which helps you fall asleep faster and stay asleep deeper. I'd also recommend you just remove any kind of electronics or just distractions, things that are going to take you away from just being focused really on sleeping in your bedroom. Then I want you to do something to really calm your mind right before you do go into bed. That can be reading a physical book, listening to an audiobook, writing, journaling, reflecting, having like an easygoing conversation, not something so mentally stimulating, but an easygoing conversation, not about reframes and how you're going to pre-handle XYZ objection tomorrow. Or you can even do a guided meditation or some kind of non-sleep deep rest session. These things are going to help you guide yourself into sleep. Next thing you know, 5, 10 minutes, your head is on the pillow, your phone is charged in another room, your room is clean, quiet, dark. Now you have optimized deep sleep. Now we start to repeat these things every day, right? We're taking out the bad stuff in our life, the bad people, the bad food, the bad habits, right? We're making space, then replacing them with good habits. And as you can now see, that's how we get to a point where we're now in a sequence of events. First, we've tapered off dependencies so they no longer control you. You don't depend on them to show up and perform at your best. Then we start looking at our lifestyle overall. We start seeing, where can I eliminate the things that are going to hold me back, that aren't helping me feel the best that I can, which is going to help me close more, make more money. That's step two. The second thing is, now that we've made room by eliminating those things, how do we replace them by optimizing the fundamentals, like our wind up, our midday habits, our winding down, getting proper sleep. So now we feel more clear, we feel more energized, we're not burnt out, and we're building structure, we're building sustainability into a new lifestyle, forging a new identity so we can continuously wake up, show up, and feel our best with peak mental clarity, sharpness, energy, vitality, and focus day after day, so you can consistently and sustainably scale your commissions month after month without ever burning out again. Alrighty, that is the video, my friends. I appreciate you sticking around. Again, if you want to get to work and waste no time, click that link below in the description. And otherwise, I will see you very soon in the next video, my friend.